and one fish, two fish, and one fish, two fish, and a red fish, blue fish, and one fish, two fish, and a red fish, blue fish, and one fish, two fish, and a red fish, blue fish. All right. Fish, two fish, and a red fish, blue fish. All right. Fish, two fish, we are good. We are Twitch. I'll just take a quick peek into the YouTube. I'll put you over there. And one fish, two fish, and a red fish, blue fish, and one fish, two fish. There's a lot of latency over there. Anyhow, I hear YouTube. YouTube's fine. Twitch is fine. Happy National Watermelon Day. Also, it's Grab Your Nuts Day. So anyhow, there you go. Grab your nuts, have a watermelon. And with that, we are going to work a little bit on a bodysuit and then maybe more on scenic stuff. I might work a little bit on a beach that I kind of started. Look, beach. Anyhow, we'll put that away. We'll work in Marvelous Designer for a little bit first. So we did the boots for the sci-fi outfit, and I think I kind of got a bodysuit started. I'm going to work a little bit more on carving that up, and then we'll go play with Blender for a bit. Slowly but surely, I will be making environments, and hopefully they don't totally suck. All right, what am I going to do? Yo, DJ Ray. You grabbed some nuts. Now you're talking like Michael Jackson. Something like that. You gotta wear your one glove when you grab your nuts. Is that how it works? I get my walnuts and my peanuts, although peanuts aren't real nuts, are they? They're faux nuts. It's kind of like donuts. Donuts aren't real nuts. What am I doing? I'm opening something. Okay, let's come up here. I don't know, did I put this in something called like sci-fi stuff? Date modified, sci-fi suit, that looks about right. Yo, Blue Mystery, how you doing? I'm going to work a little bit on a sci-fi suit, and then we're going to work on an environment. I think it's just blue. We got your shout out, man. We got your shout out. There we go. Is that... Oh, there's Charles. Yo, Mr. Charles, how are you doing? We're doing good. We're doing good. Anyhow, this is kind of where I am with the suit. So what I'm kind of doing is kind of just chopping up shapes into this bodysuit that eventually I'll use for detailing it out. We've got this kind of high-waisted thing going on. So I kind of, you know what I am going to need, I am going to need a zipper zone. So we'll set that up now. That's going to come down to right about in here. So we're going to just run two, how am I going to do this? I'm going to just run two strips, and then we're just going to unsew this and then sew this to the strips. And I'm going to make it thin, and let's just do this. I'm going to just draw that just because I need a measurement. 564, so we'll do 565. I'll do a little shorter than that. I'll do 550. Let's delete that. Okay, so what we want is we have 10 by 550. I'm going to say okay to that. I want two of these. Actually, can I mirror that? I think I can just mirror this. Let's do it like this. And then I want little thin strips in here that's going to hold everything together. So I'm going to sew this in. Then we can unsew this. Actually, I can unsew these. Then I can sew this in. So we're going to put that through here, in there, there, there. I'm going to take you, and we're going to run you through like so. And that mirrored over to the other side. And then what I want to do is I want to sew that to this. Okay, it should open up and then we should have these two sewn in. That's the plan. Let's see how we're looking. There we go. And then what we need to do is we need to attach this to this and that to that. So that way we can make the version that comes apart later on. And we're just going to put two little thin strips in here. So they're going to be just 2 by 550. I'm going to do these one at a time. I think I could probably, but here, we're just going to do this. So this gets sewn to that. That gets sewn to this. That comes there. So that's to there, and then this is here. All right, let's see what a hot mess we get with these. Not too bad. I'm going to tweak this just a little bit. I need a little bit of a cut. Sorry about that. So what I need is, whatever this is, I have to add just a little bit of a cut in. And then then I'll resew this back in. And that way it'll fit a little better right there. All right, I don't know, what are you? Wrong one. I wanted this one. That says 140.2, so we're gonna put a little split right here. I don't want that there. I want you over here. There we go. That wasn't right. Let's try this again. One oh 4.2. There's my problem. One oh 4.2, looking good. Is that going all the way? Cancel. Did I got a point right here? I got a point right there. 25.1. 25.1 from 104.2. Hold on. 104.2 minus 25.1 is, survey says, 79.1. I could figure that out the long way, but I've got a web browser right there. All right. Z. Right click. Split. 79.1. Is that right there? That's right there. Most excellent. Okay, we're going to inset this by 5. Internal line. I'm going to say 5. I'm not going to extend. I'm going to say okay. I'm just going to drop a line from here to here. And we're just going to cut and sew those two. And then I'm going to cut and sew that, or cut that, just cut that. But that's not what I want to do. Never mind. I want to extend this by 5. That's what I want to do. I think, yeah, that's what we need to do. We're going to back up. I'm doing this the wrong way. This one right here. This we're going to pull out by 5. Offset pattern outline, create like this, and then this way we're getting our little overlap in here, and then we're just going to have to clean up the sewing in here. And I'm just going to say extend. That did not do what I wanted it to do. Perpendicular, probably going to be good and close enough. Let's say okay to that. Let's check what kind of sewing we have down here. I'm going to need a little bit more. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get rid of you. That didn't work. Okay, not. I wanted to get rid of that, and I wanted this to curve. I don't know. I have a thought. So maybe if I do that, and then I can cut and sew that, or just cut that, right? Can I just extend either the pattern outline? You know what? I think I need a little. I think I'm getting a little bit of a too close in there. So I'm just going to add a point in here. So I can give myself more space in here. And then I think I can cut this. There we go. And then we can get rid of that. And we can get rid of this. This is still sewn in that, so now I need to sew this to this and this to that. We got to make sure that these are still sewn together, which they are not. So sew you guys together. And I'm going to just do this little doohickey here. Hey, that looks like it mirrored. All right, let's see how we're doing now. Perfect. I just got an issue of overlaps that we're going to clean up real quick. There we go. Perfect. So now it'll come apart nicely in DAZ Studio. Okay, now I'm going to just make up lines to go with shapes. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we do something inset, put a line in here. And then maybe a couple more lines in here. Run through the back. And let's see how that works out. If I do from here to here. I think I want to put a panel here. And then we'll put a big line of thickness in here. Then I'll probably put a back panel to match here. And then we have two here. I'll put a little something in here. And I have to start thinking about what I'm going to do with this. That's a little off, but I think I'm going to fix that in Blender. And I've kind of got a shoulder pad and an elbow pad in here that will all work in. And I'm thinking I might steal gloves from the Rocket Queen outfit. And we'll chop off the gauntlets and just basically use the glove portion of that. No sense in remodeling a glove when I've got a good one already hanging around. I need to do collar. So let me work on this. Because I kind of have an idea what I'm doing here now. So, and then we'll offset as an internal line on those. And maybe make those 15. Say okay on that. You know, that didn't, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We can work with that. Then I'm going to just pull this over into here. And then I need a little bit more. So I'm going to put this a bunch of, what if can I just spread these? Distribute between segments. And we're just going to kind of put a bunch of those in. I'm not liking that. So I'm going to cancel that. We're not going to do that. I'm just going to offset as an internal line here. And maybe bring you over 40, like so. And then I'm going to offset that over to here. I'll take that one at 10. And then I'm going to just, I'm just going to draw a straight line down in here, I think. We'll see how that lines up. Oh, I'm going to do that back here. So I can do this. We'll offset this as 40. And then we'll push 10 off of that. Did I go the right way? I went the wrong way. I want to go the other way. Offset as an internal line. There we go. I want to go that way. And then I'm going to put a 10 in here, which means I'm going to put a 10 in here. And we're reverse direction. Okay. I'm not quite sure. I think I do want to put a line around the collar, so we'll do that. I think we'll do that as a 15. Yeah, we'll do that as a 15. Okie dokie. I think I'll do another 40 and 10 on these. Right in here. I don't need it to go all the way here, so let's add some lines to the edge here. So we're going to extend trim to pattern outline and add a point. So I can select that, and then we can offset as an internal line 40. And offset as an internal line 10. And let's see, am I going the right direction? I think I'm going the wrong direction, aren't I? Yo, Willie, how are you doing today? I'm going to add some trim around the arms. I'm going to do these as 10s. I did that wrong. Let's do that again. Offset as internal line. 10. Okay. I'm blocking out a sci-fi suit today. we're just marking a bunch of areas on here. And then we're going to go play at the beach. Where's my crotch? Crotch check. That's right, grab those nuts. These. Come on. Oh, those went the wrong way, damn it. I still had the reverse going on those, didn't I? Okay, now I'm going to check and see where our crotch is. Okay, I need to pull that up a little bit. You can see we're a little low on that. So I don't know, can I just do that? Yeah, I think that's a little better. We're thinking. I got to start putting lines in here somehow. I think I just need to bring something up through here and then up into here maybe. Oh, you know what? I should have left that line in here. You know what? I'm going to do this again. Offset as an internal line. 5. This gives me a guideline that I can use for this. And then I can take you, snap you back there. You didn't. That's right. And then can I do both of these at once? Say maybe 15 on that. And then I can adjust this out maybe a bit. And then we'll do something similar in the rear. You know what did I make that 15? I'm doing this so I can match the measurement on the back side. Over here, we'll put that at 15. And then I can offset that by 15. And then I can just make sure that that goes to there. And that's probably good for now. And now I can start thinking maybe I'll put a big shape there, and a shape in here. And let's put a 10 seam right in here. So the boots are going to come up to about the knees. So I don't really have to worry about what's down here. Which is the reason why it doesn't go, why it just stops down at on the upper ankle. Up, 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 up. Maybe I'll put bands on here. And then I can put shapes here, and then maybe bandy shapes from here down. Let's try that. Let's see right about there. I'm going to put a split point on that. So we're going to see, what does my measurement say? 332. I say 330 and okay. And then put another one over here. Split 330. Okay. And then we'll just do the same thing over here. Of course, I might move this one, but we'll see. Split 330. Actually, I want that to go the other way, like so. There we go. Now I'll just pop a line across there, there to there, there to there. I think I'll curve those a little bit. Give me a little nicer shape in that. And then we'll just curve the other one a little. See, that looks a little nicer. And then we can do the internal line thing, I think. Can we do this? Distribute internal line between segments. That way we can just chop that up into a bunch of parts. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe we'll just do that down there. 10, 11, 12. 27.5 is my magic number. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That did not work. Let's try this again. I feel like that to that. Am I just not getting... That's better. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 27.5. Excellent. Those look nice. We can live with that. And the boots will probably be up in here somewhere. And then I can carve big shapes out of this. Do I want a big shape down the... You know what? I want one big shape down the front, and then we'll put... So we'll try to put 3 in here. Let me see if I can get a line through here. If we do that, distribute internal. Yeah, actually, if we do that like that. Let's take a look at how that lines up. I can move these so they line up better, or I can leave them like that. I'm going to move these. I think maybe we'll bring this one over, and then I'll maybe take this one and actually at least bring it up to this point. Am I moving the whole thing? Nope, I'm just moving that. Although I don't like where that lined up on the bottom. And you know what? I need it to just come down into here somewhere, don't I? And likewise with this one, we just kind of need it to kind of just be in here. And then I'll just kind of space those out so they line up a little bit nicer. And do I have... I think I'm going to bring that in. Then I'll see what I can do with this. I might want another one of these in here. So I can do... Come on. Come on. I have one up here so I can kind of ensure that this doesn't hit a bad spot. That might be okay. And then I'm going to adjust. I don't know, let's... I might need an extra curve in here. It's thinking, I'm dragging, and it's doing nothing. All right, now we'll look at this. So I think I'm going to take this over so it matches that a little bit better. And I'm going to flatten that out. Then maybe I'll drop a couple of lines like that in the back. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to visually line this up off of this point right here. I think we'll do that. And then this, it looks like it's pretty close. Although visually, I can probably cheat that over a little bit. And I'll take that curve out. I think that'll look nice. And then maybe I can pop in an extra one of these. I think that's a 10 into here. And then I'm going to kind of maybe do the same thing here. And then we'll run another one through here. And then we're just going to kind of think about what I'm going to do. I think I want, I don't know, maybe put a cut in here and add a little bit more up on the shoulders. Anyhow, let's finish this. So, gonna take that. And which one did I get? Excellent. And I'm going to try to visually get it over into here. All right, we're not there yet. I'm going to get rid of this little curve point right here. I don't really need you anymore. Now that I'm working a little straighter. Now that I'm not butting it right up against that line, I've got a little extra room to play with. I should have touched over here. That's pretty close. Although I do think I do want to move you just a bit. And I think I want to flatten that out. At least coming down here, and then we can pull it out again. So where's my... And what I should do... We're going to put a little guide in here. A little 10 by 10 square. I should have did that in the first place. There we go. So I can use this as kind of a visual guide on these. So I can kind of get them lined up a little better. So the idea is to kind of get you right about there. I am pretty close. You know what? It's probably good enough. And then if I offset this by 10, and yep, so we'll just put what offset is an internal line. I'm going to say 10, and I'm heading the right direction. But because it curves, it's not coming out quite right. So, but we can, I think I can just grab this point and drag it down into here. At some point, I'm going to have to clean all of this up. Oh no. If I do that, I'm probably going to regret that. That's going to give me a nasty poly in there, probably. I think that's fine. And then let's put a 10 on here, and I'll have that go. I think I'll have it go over there. Probably close enough. So maybe we add an extra in here, which means we'll probably put another one in here. And then I want to bring, so I want to bring this out to here. Okay, this isn't going to have this is going to be like a belt. So it's not going to have these details that I'm putting in here now. I think I'm going to narrow you up just a, you're probably fine. I'm going to leave you alone. And then we want to just add the extra over there. So it'll kind of line up like that. And then that kind of just ends. You know what? That should probably come up through here and hit this. I'm probably going to regret this though. That'll probably be fine. I'm looking for this line to show up right there. So the kind of matches coming around the back. I think that's good. It doesn't exactly line up there, but like I said, this isn't going to actually have those rows on it. And then what I kind of want to do is kind of split the difference and bring one line down the back, because we're not going to do the 3-line thing. So I'll just bring one line down the back and we'll offset that a little this way. So I think I'll start you maybe right about in there. And I'll just kind of, you know what, we'll just do this to start with and see where it goes. And then we'll curve it to fit. Actually, I kind of like that. Maybe pull it out a little. Right about in there. And then bring it back. Probably fine. I can't tell which way you're going. There it goes. Offset as an internal line. I think that's good. All right, which means I'm just going to offset as an internal line here and just kind of try to, you know what, let's offset this twice and give me a couple of offset as internal line 10. I'm going to say 2 the other way. And that gives me that stripe right there. And then I'm just going to slide these two so they kind of line up like that. Is good. All right, let's add. I don't know what I just did. God damn it. I fat fingered something. Let me see if I can restart. I'm hoping that didn't actually change the pattern in some way and it's just like a visual tool thing. Okay, file should be in the recent, right? Ah. Why would the thing I was just be working on be in the recents? You know, it is, except this doesn't order the way I think it should order. I think that's what it is. I think it alphabetizes or something. Or actually, I have no idea what it's doing, but I think Sci-Fi Suit's over here. And I don't know why it's in here twice. All right, I think we're good. So whatever happened, it didn't get saved. Yay. We are happy about that. I'm going to take that. I'm just going to quickly plop a. No, I'm just going to eyeball this. I'm just going to do it like this. I don't know, is that what I think it is? Nope. My idea was to line that up with that. I totally missed, didn't I? That's pretty close. Oh, I did that as a 5. We want that to be 10. Looking good. All right, let's think what to do here. See, I'm now getting uninspired. Let's work on breaking this out. I think here, and I'm going to put a couple in here. So I'm going to do a couple insets on this to make it a little wider. Maybe we do, I don't know, let's start with 20 and we'll go from there. I think that'll work for me. And then, so I'm probably going to want a little 5 along here. I'll put that on the outside. Kind of like that. And then I think maybe I just run a straight line across from here to there. And then maybe I put another line through here so I can do something in here. Or maybe I just put a line through here. I think we'll just put a line through. I'm thinking. And I still got to clean all of this stuff up because it's awfully messy. If I just send this out like this, I wonder what the geometry looks like. We're going to try that just to see for the fun of it. And then maybe we just adjust all of this stuff to, I don't know, maybe I just run a line across here. And we'll put a 5 on that. Offset is an internal line. And we'll just do that as a 5. Say okay. That just gives me a little something on the back. And then maybe we just do kind of the same thing. Maybe not like that. Maybe that. Which way am I going? I'm going the wrong way. Reverse, and let's not extend. And let's say okay to that. Yeah, I don't like that. Change my mind. So if I put you over here, maybe we bring you into here. Maybe we move you. And then we put a 5 on that. Probably good. All right, let's make sure. Let's check our UV map. It's 3 o'clock, so I think I'm going to move over to Blender in a couple minutes here. All right, reset the 2D arrangement. Let's get that sleeve back in here. I feel like I've got some misalignments going on. You know what? I could probably snug you guys up. And then I can probably get this lined up a little bit better. And maybe line you up a little bit better. Probably good. Get that. And I think everything is within. It's going to be a little, I'm going to have excess space over here. What does that let me do? Oh, I think that's my, no, what are you? Let's try this again. I was distracting myself. Something like that. At some point I got to assign materials. And I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. All right, well, let's hit save. Let's go ahead and take an export and take a look at what the geometry looks like in Blender. And we are totally in the wrong folder because we're still in the urban, but we want to go to sci-fi stuff, date modified, sci-fi suit. There we go. Whip. And I need a name for this at some point. But for right now, you're still sci-fi suit. Maybe with the cap lock off, though. And I might have said, did I say Cypher suit? No, I said Cypher. I don't know what I said. I wasn't even paying attention to what I was doing when I was exporting that. I did it wrong because I'm in the new program. I already know I did it wrong because I wasn't paying attention, so I probably exported the goddamn avatar. See, I did say Cypher suit. Okay, this time we're paying attention and we're not going to export the avatar. And once again, we're going to complain that if you're doing an object selected export, it shouldn't be adding stuff that isn't selected. That's just common sense. My dude. Where are we at here? All right, let's take a look. So we got Blender, we got our beach. I'm thinking about adding some rocks. But we're going to take a quick look at this sci-fi suit. So we're going to zoom in. And we'll just import that in here. And now we just go to projects. Sci-fi. Sci-fi suit whip. There we are. I'm going to hide our G9 here. G9's in here just for... So how did you come out? Yeah, I should clean that up. Because I've got some extraneous lines in here. So maybe tomorrow night we'll be working on this again and we'll be cleaning it up some. And stuff like this I can fix in Blender. That's just, I don't know, the tension in the fabric. So I'm just going to want to... Oh no, Blender crashed. I hadn't even saved that. My beach went away. You know what? Blender may have made a backup file though. Let's see if we can get the auto save. Okay, file, recovery, auto save. Today at 3:05. Hey, look at that. I'm going to save this before it crashes again. Save as. I'm going to go save this over in my palm tree folder because that's kind of where my landscape stuff is forming right now. Well, maybe I should. Do I have a landscape? Do I actually have a landscape folder? Landscapes. Let's do this here. Yeah, I'm just going to here. We're going to just put you in here. Beach. We'll do that. Oh, I got grasses. Palm tree blend. I should check these out. See what I had in these things. Pond. I was thinking of making a pond at one time, but I wasn't really quite happy with that. Pre-render. Anyhow, let's save this. And what was I looking at? Oh yeah, I was in here, and the idea was that I was just going to kind of fix these. Oh no, it stopped working again. It really doesn't want to slide that, does it? Well, at least I got the beach saved. Let's try this again. I don't need you. Let's try this again. Oh, I know what I did. I accidentally clicked on something. It's about par for the course. All right. Import. Is it whip? Sci-fi suit. Is this going to crash every time I try that, or is it just happening in that beach file? There we go. That's better. And then I think we can probably do a relax on those. And then that, is that my belt? That's my big belt. That big belt should be straighter than that, right? And that's a goofy ass shape. We'll have to take a, I have to take a look in what's going on with Marvel's Designer to get that to not look goofy. And so we'll do things like clean up where these lines intersect other lines. I didn't bother doing that. So I'm getting strange ends and things like that. But I think, also I think I want to put a bunch of bands in the arms, similar to what we did down here. Okay, let's go back to the beach. Open recent beach. I'm playing with waves, or actually I'm playing with doing surf. Don't save. Here we go. So I don't need you. You're just causing havoc. And this is just for scale. I think I might put some vegetation up here. I'm going to put some. So what I want is I want to be able to have this and not have you really see the end. So the landscape kind of goes around a little curve here, so it blocks off visually. So if you're looking that way, you don't kind of see an abrupt end. And then I'm going to put some big rocks over here to kind of block that side up. And I think I'm going to delete that rock and work with this rock. Maybe not that rock. What about this rock? I don't like that rock either. Let's try to make another rock. Shift A. Is it under mesh, others, extras, rock generator? I want a big rock. And then what it is, it actually has this cage. I'm not really happy, but I can shape this. And then it uses a whole bunch of modifiers to kind of make the rock. So I'm going to just put you out over here, and we're just going to tweak that. So I can do stuff like this to add to the rock. And I think I want to pull this backside out. And you know what we don't need? We probably don't need these faces on the bottom. I'll get rid of those later. So I kind of want this, and then I'm going to add a few more around, but this is going to be kind of a big blocking rock on this edge. So you visually can't see really actually past that. So it'll stick out. And we'll find a basalt or something texture to put on that. I keep hitting 3 and nothing happens. It's because I got the wrong tool up. There we go. So I'm going to want to extend that a couple of times. Maybe one more. And we can just kind of give this some shape. I could probably add some subdivisions in here and start adding more. We can use the random to maybe kind of jiggle it up a little bit. If I can remember, there is that the randomizer. And then we could just pull that up like that. I'm still not getting. Still looking too smooth, right? I don't know. Maybe we can I just subdivide this in here? Face subdivide or something. I have to do that on the outside, maybe. Because I know you can edge subdivide, right? Hey, that works. See, that's giving me more interesting shapes. And then if I get some pinches in there, I can smooth that out. And then maybe we subdivide again. That looks kind of cool. Except we got some weird stuff in here, but that's okay. If we get weirdness, we can pop back in there and tweak. And then I'm probably going to delete off and flatten out the bottom of it a bit. But that looks interesting. Let's pop over into sculpt mode. And then we can just smooth. Let's adjust the smoothing. Tools. I don't know. What am I? I'm in vertex paint. I don't want vertex paint. I want sculpt mode. There we go. And I want to just use smooth. And, well, maybe not just smooth, but I want to change the smoothing modifier. Make my brush bigger so that I can take out weirdness like that. It's running slow because of, I think, I've got all of these. Let's hide some of this stuff. Let's clamp these all down. And that deletes. You know what I'm just going to do kind of like that, and then we can maybe smooth. Actually, can I just, there's a smooth in here, isn't there? Let's try this. That's still randomized. I don't know how this smooth works. It looks like it's still, oh, you know, that kind of works. Then I can touch it up in sculpt mode. So, right. And then if I want to add more distortion, and I can punch it up. See, that looks nasty. I hit S instead of F. Am I? I'm kind of liking that. I think that looks interesting. Maybe we'll go punch a cave in there. You know what? I think I'll flatten this out, and then what do you flatten contrast? That doesn't seem to be doing anything. That seems to do the trick. Oh, that was nasty. Yeah, I'm flattening right straight through, aren't I? All right, let's think about getting rid of I come around through. Yeah, you loop too far. What about you? I like you. You I can delete easily. And then we can just flatten out the. I don't really need to, but I'm going to because it just. And let's get that tool off. Go back to here and scale Z. Oops. Scale Z. We'll just flatten it out a bit like that. Kind of gives me this look. And then if I put all of these back on, we start getting our roughing detail in here. Some of this yeah, it's probably okay. Some of these looks like I can get away without having to use. So I like that one. That doesn't seem to do anything. That might be. Let me see if we can. We have these subdivides and we have these displacements. Do I want a second subdivide on top of a subdivide? But that's what's giving me the extra. Oh, and that looks nasty, doesn't it? Let's sculpt that out. Let's go back to here. Smooth. There we go. And I'll put a rock texture on that. Should look nice. Okay, I want to kind of figure out how to get a nice little surf line in here. I think I'm going to kind of maybe do an overlay for the surfy stuff, but I'm not sure how to. I got textures. And what I'm kind of thinking is putting a ribbon on top. And can I like use a cloth modifier to drop this on here? And then maybe sculpt gentle rolling waves into this plane. They should kind of be in big lines though, right? All right, let's go back to object mode, select that. So you don't really need to be, I can kind of do something like that. And then what we'll probably do is I'll probably just put an underlying shape back in here to help block out. And I need some detail in there, don't I? So the sand will come out to here, and then this will just kind of be sitting underneath to help block out anything that you might see under the water. At least that's the plan. Kind of like that. I don't know if I'm gonna. And it comes back up to the plane, so it kind of And then maybe we'll add a horizon or something plain back in there and try to blend this into that. I don't know. We'll think. I'm thinking about it. Anywho, want to add more. Where are we at? I am in object mode. Let's go ahead and subdivide that a few times. Generate subdivision. We'll say simple so it stays square. We'll just kick that up a few times. And then we'll apply that. And then we have this. And then maybe I'll just take the sculpt tool and add some ways, just general rules through here. And then maybe I'll take a thing and maybe figure out how to get a surfy thing in here. So let's go to the sculpt mode. Scale. No, I keep hitting scale because that's what you do in ZBrush. You're not doing anything because I have you on smooth. There's draw. I need this to affect the edge a little bit more, and I'm hitting the S again. And let's see if we can, I don't know, where is the matte things? That's not what I want. There they are, matte caps, that's what I'm thinking. We'll go with the classic. You don't seem to be doing anything because the tool switched back to do that. It's not affecting the ends like I would like it to. I have an idea of what it's doing. So maybe I'll just go with something like that. We have nice, gentle. Is my G9 here somewhere? G9's way down there. Those are really big swells. My scaling's off. We're going to back that up and make this small and run a bunch of them in here. And maybe add another level of subdivide in here or something. And you've gone back to smooth for whatever reason. And I'm going to switch my strength to maybe 0.2. And am I in sculpt mode? I am in sculpt mode. Missed. I don't know, what did I just do? I changed tools. Too bad I can't just shift and click. All right, let's take a look at this. I'll come here to character view. That's probably subtle enough. Let me see if I can get like a ribbon that'll run along here that I can put my surf line on. And then I have to kind of figure out what I want to do here. So I have these textures I just downloaded from textures.com a little earlier today. Except I don't have an Explorer open. Hold on. There we go. Then I'm probably going to use, not that one. I might see if I can figure out how to use this for using a water texture. We'll see how that works out. Also, I may be able to just find a water texture in Substance Painter. Did I hit save on this? I think I did. And then I can just close you. We'll come back to you later. And, oh, you know what? I think my plane is... My plane needs to be a little bit longer because I'm not clipping the beach over here. You know what? We can do this. We have our... And I'll just turn that to linear. And I could just take you and drag you out. But, you know, we'll just kind of do it like this until it vanishes into the beach like so. Yay. And I'm probably going to pull this up a little higher back here. Maybe create a little ridge line that you can't see over. All right, back in the sculpt mode. I'm going to do a little bit of sculpting on this. Once again, I hit the S key instead of the F key. And once again, you've automatically defaulted this. I think that gives me a little bit of a ridge. Yeah, we'll go with that. And maybe I could just, nah, I don't want that. This is fine. I forgot what I was doing. Oh, I was looking for surf textures. I think I might be able to, if I can do something with this. So the idea is to kind of turn this into a mask and then see if I can get it so that it tiles. What I, you know what, there's the cheap way of tiling it where we could just flip the edges and then maybe blend that. And then I can kind of use this on a ribbon here. Let's kind of get the foam water, and then we can put water underneath that in the back. I'm thinking. And then I kind of need to figure out how to get some extra watery white in here, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe it only has to come out to here, so. Anywho, I'm going to draw a curve in here. We're going to take a plane on it. And then maybe I can drop it or fit it to this. I could always use a cloth simulator, so I could always take it in the DAZ D-Force so it just drops down on the water and the beach. And then we have the transparent on that. I don't know. Well, let me set up. So here, let's get a. Whoops, I didn't want that. Let's just go back over here into object mode and layout. And we'll just go back into this. And I should, I could give some colors and stuff into stuff here. Just so stuff's a little different looking. Salt. Wawa. Beach. Probably good to start with. And I'm just going to put a plane in here. Oh, my plane is way too big. No, it's not. There it is. I think that'll kind of like be my surf zone. I'm going to hide stuff. Let's see. Let's get my texture into Photoshop and see what we can do with it there. Open with. All right, let's tweak the contrast. Let's make a copy of this layer. Can we just do that? Wouldn't it be easy, cool if I could just, one of the things that always bothers me about Photoshop is duplicate layer doesn't have a shortcut key. I suppose I could give it one. Shift D or something stupid like that. Want to desaturate this layer. Hue and saturation, something, something, something. Image adjust. Hue saturation. So I'll just take the saturation out of that. I'll do a Control M and try to turn this into kind of a foam mask. And then I'll just kind of clean that up with paint. So what I'm thinking, I don't think it's going to look good, but it might be a good start. And it might look weird, but it's image size. I'm going to take the height and I'm going to double. Actually, let's do canvas size so I can put this on the bottom. Image canvas size. We'll put this down here. We'll double that, which means I need 10286. 10286. So duplicate that. Control E. Because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, nope, hold the shift key down so I can just do this. That went too far. Let's try this again. Arg. I can't navigate in here like I can navigate in other programs. I keep trying to scroll the mouse to go down and it's not working. And I got stuff sitting in the way of my scroll bars. What I'm going to do is just flip this. Is that going to be okay? And I don't think so. I could use the clone tool to clone out this with something like that. No, I'm not liking that. We're backing up a little ways. I'm going to offset this and then I'll just manually try to clone in. So if we offset it vertically by 2500 or so, which is, where is that? Is it in filter, other, offset? I don't want to offset horizontally, but I do want to offset vertically by about 2500. Say okay. Is this tiled? No, it's right there. How come you're over there? Let's try that again. Filter, offset. There it is. Okay, so we have to kind of hide this. So I think maybe I can try to clone it out. Well, there is so there's the generative fill. Is that going to do anything? I don't want flux. I just don't give me anything interesting. Why can't I just do what you used to do? Why do you have to change things so dramatically? Cancel that. What if I say remove? There we go. Okay. And that should be seamless running along this edge. And I think I want to just clean this up a little bit back in here. So I can just merge all of these layers together. Save that as a mask. And then maybe figure out, and then I might want another mask that lets me I think I'm going to save this as just a foam mask, and then I can kind of work that with water coming in behind it. I don't know. I'm thinking. I might want a second. So I can use this to make my foam, and then might want a second one that takes this and blends it so there's a semi-transparent to water. Anywho, let me save this. You know what, let's put you into the landscape folder that I'm working in. So let's go over to projects and back into landscapes. And did I actually set up a folder for beach? I don't think I did. I think I just, yeah, so let's put a folder in here. Try that. And then the idea is to use this onto this, but we'll tile. No, we can do that. We can fit this to this, and then I stretch that out, and then I put this on a curve, and then I can check and try to figure out how to do the cloth thing. Because I'm not sure how to do cloth. So I can convert whatever I make the path into cloth, and we can drape it down onto the beach and the water plane. And then I can kind of figure out how to touch up the textures to blend nicer. What I might do is just kind of put a water, and I kind of need a, because there's going to be a hard edge that I kind of want to cover up. Or maybe not. I don't know. I'm thinking. Anyhow, have I saved you yet? I didn't save you. I'm going to save you. You're going to be Surf Alpha. And I'm going to close this. Close this. Come on. Actually, let's save you as a PSG or PSD so I can, if I need to come back to this, I can. All I got is the background left. Oh, I didn't do that. I have to click that. There's my problem. I'll save as landscape, beach. I'll just stick you right there. I'm going to close that for now. Actually, I'm closing the wrong thing. I clicked on Blender instead of Photoshop. All right, let's give you some more shape, and we'll say simple on that. So you go like that. And then what I want to do is plane 1. Is that the plane? Yep, that's my underplane. All right, let me draw a curve on here. I'm in edit mode. There's my problem. There we go. Shift A, curve, Bezier, tab, scale. All right. I'm going to kind of line you up here. We'll bring you out over here. Oh, I have proportional editing. That's what's screwing me up. Dangity dang it. Okay, subdivide. Something in here should say subdivide, right? Subdivide, and then we'll subdivide again. Should give me enough extra geometry to work with here. So you're going to come up here, be like this. All right, let's see. And we're up a little high, but that's okay. That'll be fine. And I'm going to drag you just back inside the rock. You're going to be out over here, but I probably want to do a little extension off of you. And then we just can clean that up later. And then let's see about getting this plane to follow along that curve, if I can remember how to do that. I probably want to make that a little bigger and kind of longer to fit my... So let's get my surf on here. We'll tab in here, select... Oh, I'm still got the subdivide on here. Let's apply that. And then I can tab in here and I'll try to just kind of picture what I think that might be. Pop over into the shading. Add a new. I'm just going to put this on as the base color for right now. Image texture. There we go. Open. Hey, landscapes, beach. There's my surf alpha. Let's plug you in. I'm just going to plug you into the base color for now. And you are twisted the wrong way. That's okay. We can fix that. I can just do that until it looks right. And we can kind of make this look a little bigger. And then I'm going to try to get this to come along here. And you know what? Maybe we'll just make that a little larger. And then how does go again? Is it array, curve? So I think I want to put an array on here. This is old school. I think there's a new school which lets me put it to a curve. So that's not matching up nicely, is it? There we go. It's not bending along nicely, though. It's not deforming. So this is the newer way to do this. So if I was doing this right, it should follow the curve. Let me see if we can figure out how that's supposed to work nowadays. It would be nice if I could just do a count, right? Um, all right, we're gonna. Oh, it's almost 4 o'clock. Okay, I'm gonna figure out how to get this to fit the curve, and then we're gonna call it a day. And a little bit of progress on beach scene. And we do have the trees. I do want to rework the palm tree a little bit. And then we do have our plants and our grasses and things. So, yep, I'm going to Google. So we might go a little past 4 because I'm Googling stuff. Blender 5.1 array to curve. That's what we're going to do. Blender 5.1 array to curve. And let me see if there's a video. Objects follow curve 3 years ago. That's not what I'm looking for because that's the old way to do it. 7 months ago, array along a curve. That might be recent enough.
I'm going to go to mesh and then plane. And then I'm going to
Is that what I array along curves Blender? Yep. This is hard surface model. That's
do is I want to go.
That's not what I'm looking for. Array along curve 3 months ago. Let's see if that looks like they're still not deforming.
Overtime gear for the win. Now at Target.
Love it, love it.
Depthmap ML is a new technology for Boris FX Continuum. It uses AI to take your regular.
In this video,
Nope, that wasn't it. And yes, I could spot it that fast. His end result was his cubes all stayed clean, which isn't what I'm looking for these days. Make a road 3 months ago. Let's see how this.
Curved roads look complicated, but they're actually simple. Add a path curve. Resize and position it. Road object and add a curve modifier. Pick the path curve. Align the road properly. Next, add an array modifier.
All right, this is the old school method, but this will work.
Arrange the modifier order.
All right, we're just going to do it old school. Fortunately, they left the legacy modifier in here, so we can add a modifier, generate array legacy is what we're looking for. And we'll just say fit curve, and then we got to add our curve modifier in here. And that's under deform curve, and that will just be on that. And then I think I can just count it out, right? Something like that. There we go. There's a little too much repeat in that, so but it might not be. It's obvious from above. I think the secret is we just make it bigger. And then it looks kind of like that. But when you're, so the idea is we're going to be kind of like that. I don't know, maybe I can customize it in Photoshop or something. Let me see if I can get this dropped on now. If we can, let's make a copy of this. We'll convert it to a mesh. And I'll see if I can use a cloth sim real quick to drop it on here. Probably, no, let's not do that. It's 4 o'clock. It'll take me too long because I have to set up things like a simulation space and colliding objects and turn that into a cloth. Anyhow, I'm making slow progress on beachy scene. See how this works out. Anyhow, thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Let's see who else is on today. And actually, can I just switch you over to an alpha instead? Where's my alpha? Alpha's over there. There we go. And if I just take you off the color. Yay. It looks kind of like that. It looks like, kind of looks like sea foam now. The idea is I want to be able to hide this line, so I have to figure out what to do with that. It might just be a matter of just deleting and putting a slight transparency on the edge of the water plane. Anywho, yeah, let's see who's on. Also, I'm going to have to add some foam along the walks at some point, and I have to think about if we're adding any foam or details out on the water. So hit save on this. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Hey, if there's anybody on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're still hanging out here on Twitch, anyone, Bueller, feel free to stick around and we'll go find somebody to raid. That's YouTube. That's Twitch. Oh no, it stopped. That says I have 2 viewers. Let's see if we can find a friend on Twitch to go say hi to. Hey, take care. Catch you next time, man. Thanks for sticking around. Who's on? There's my Twitch. Let's see who's on. Let's see. I see Dan Ruby Art, the Crafty Cub, Commander Biscuit. You know what? Probably Commander Biscuit. You know what? Actually, I have a DJ friend who's on, Trans Europe DJ. So we'll just pop over there and say hi to them. They're spinning the tunes and they've got 2 viewers, so that works out well for us. So thank you all for being here. Feel free to stick around for the raid. We have raid calls if you want to stick around. If you are a sub, you get to use the sub raid call. If you're not a sub, you get to use the regular raid call. Hey, I sell stuff at DAS. Feel free to buy. If you aren't already in the Discord, feel free to join. And we'll make the obligatory Charles shout out. And with that, let's go over and say hi to Trans Europe Official. I know him because he hangs out with DJ Ray sometimes. So we'll go over and say hi to them. So let's do this /raid /V. So anyhow, I will be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time, for, I know, this or the sci-fi suit, or maybe a little bit of both. We'll see. I'm actually liking how this is coming along. So I'm actually pleased how landscape is looking for a change. How about that? Anyhow, let's do this. Let's get this show on the road. I hope you all have a good rest of a Monday. And once again, happy Watermelon and National Grab Your Nuts Day. Grab some nuts. Grab some nuts. There you go. And with that, let's see. Did I do the right thing? I haven't done the right thing yet. I did do the right thing. So with that, we're going to say hasta la vista, baby. Once I copy my raid call. Hasta la vista, baby.